Hi everyone. So the focus this weekend is suffering and exile. It's kind of a tough topic, but I think a very important one in light of what's going on in our world. So I'd like to offer a few reflections today. I remember back when I was in seminary between my second and third year, I did an internship at a hospital, Good Shepherd Hospital in Barrington. And it was a great experience, but a challenging one as well, because when you're in a hospital, there's healing that's going on, but there's also suffering, sudden deaths, accidents, and just working with families and patients. It was really challenging. One of the areas, with my faith, I really had to do some wrestling. And it's like, if God's all powerful, all knowing, all good, why all this? People would ask me questions and I'd struggle to respond. And so when I got back to seminary in my third year, I really dug into that topic of the kind of the problem of evil. God, all powerful, all knowing, all loving, and yet, evil exists in our world. We talk about the moral evil. So God did not create us as robots, and we're given free will. And we can use that free will for good or for bad. And at this time of pandemic, you see so much good going on. People going the extra mile for others, compassion, all kinds of service and generosity. And that's really the human spirit in cooperation with God's grace doing wonderful things. But we also see, in light of human freedom, people doing bad things. And even during times of natural disasters, a pandemic like we're in, there's people out there who are ripping others off, and you stop and think about it. Someone who's going to be ripping off an elderly person, what's going on there? That's the fallenness of human nature and moral evil. But there's also suffering that comes about from physical evil, and that's your earthquakes, your tornadoes, your natural disasters, your pandemics. And when you think of a tornado or a hurricane, they don't have a conscience, and we nature is what it is. And we don't have all the answers on why God created everything the way it's created. But that would be what's called physical evil, and it could impact people. And it doesn't mean that God is he's up in heaven. He's saying, well, this person, I'm going to give them cancer today, or how about a tornado on that town over there? I don't think that's the way God operates. We don't have all the answers. And if we want to know how God is in connection with human suffering, we look to Jesus. Look at the Gospels. And how did Jesus minister to people who were suffering? He brought healing, forgiveness. Jesus lifted people up. Jesus encouraged. Sometimes he was very challenging, but all for the purpose of bringing about growth. And so in the midst of suffering, we know that Jesus is here. He's present. He hasn't abandoned us. He's with us. And you look at what not too long ago, with Holy Week, Good Friday, and then Easter Sunday, Jesus went to the cross. Jesus suffered, and Jesus is risen. And we believe as Catholics that God can bring good even out of suffering and even out of evil and sin. Just a little example from my life during this time where we're spending more time indoors. So I've really gotten back into a regular exercise, and I've got an exercise bike and some weights, and just every morning I'm spending some time. And when I'm doing those exercises, there's definitely a suffering dimension to that, especially as you get older, like me. But there's some really good things that come out of that, where just feeling better and healthier. When we're talking about the sufferings that we go through in life, well, we don't seek them out; they come our way. We know that God can bring growth and virtue and His grace into our lives during those times. But we know the Lord is with us, so never lose heart that you've been abandoned. The Lord is right there. He's walked this journey, and He'll continue to walk with us. How about during this time of pandemic? We watch the news, we listen to the news, and we hear of so many people struggling with the weight of anxiety and fear. And there's a heaviness with that, and I think everyone's experiencing it, and some even more so. And I would just like to encourage you. Jesus said a number of times, "Be not afraid." We know the Lord's with us, and so let's stay close to Him. And He is bigger and stronger than any tragedy, any suffering, and the power of evil. Jesus has conquered that. But let us open our hearts to Him and to the grace He brings, so that we can be strengthened to be instruments of His grace and His light during this time of pandemic. May God bless you.
you.